What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside podcast, and we are back today. And a lot of drama. So let's get it started with the NBA. All right, first off, Grizzlies. We're almost towards the playoffs, and they decided it's okay to fire their head coach. I think they have like 10 or 9 games left before the season is over. They're close to the second seed. They were the second seed at one point. What is going on? Why would they do that? So I've seen reports coming out about the offense, something wrong about the offense. Remember, we mentioned this before months ago about a game I saw against the Cavaliers, I believe it was, where Ja Morant, he wasn't getting the ball. They weren't running no pick and roll. It's 5-out offense. They more about the role players getting them involved, but Ja Morant, he's not getting involved much. You have one of the most explosive point guards in the league, and he was great when it comes to pick and rolls, and now you are the least pick and roll heavy team in the league. So I don't get why they would do that. And I saw something else where the Grizzlies, I think in the month of March, actually since February, have I don't think they've beaten a winning team.
They since February 3rd, they haven't beat a team over 500 besides the Mavs, and like 8 players was hurt.
Right. So there you go. And then a report not too long ago about the offense, about Ja Morant, not when he comes to practice, he not always thrilled, mainly because of the offense. So it's a lot going on with that. It seems like a lot of offense. I've seen people that cover the Grizzlies talk about how in-game Taylor Jenkins isn't the greatest. So
yeah, we knew that already.
Yeah, we knew that. I was
remember that the series against the Nuggets? No, the Timberwolves. It was the Timberwolves, like back in 23, 22, 23.
22.
It was
22.
oh goodness, that was
the Warriors one.
God awful basketball. I was like, oh my, down the stretch, it was just chaos and mayhem.
And then 23, they had the second seed. They lost to the Lakers.
Yeah.
The 7th seed. I just think with Taylor Jenkins, there was not a high ceiling.
I agree with that.
I've always looked at the Grizzlies as not a threat. As a Laker fan, I bet a bunch of fan bases that their teams are in the playoffs right now or in playoff contention believe that the Grizzlies weren't much of a threat because of their offense, because of their coach. I never looked at Taylor Jenkins as one of the better head coaches in the NBA. I always thought, okay, yeah, he's a good developmental coach. But in terms of in-game adjustments, in-game management, I never really was scared about the Grizzlies at all. So my surprise is the timing of it all. I wouldn't fire a coach 9 games before the playoffs. So that was very surprising, perplexing to say the least. Why didn't you let go of him last year? You could have
even before the All-Star break or something.
But they were winning.
Well, that is true.
They could have let him go after they missed the playoffs, after they had that bad season. But they probably felt that, well, injuries, Ja Morant coming back, it's not really his fault. But you could have made him the scapegoat. Then it would have looked bad, but it wouldn't have looked as bad as what it is right now, where you fire a coach and you're still gunning for that second seed with 9 games remaining. And now the morale is messed up. The players are probably uncertain of what's going to happen in the future. What's going to happen with Ja Morant? Are they going to build around him now? Like, what are we doing? What is the direction of the Grizzlies? I have no clue, because I think they changed the coaching staff. They hired new coaches. They fired those coaches, the coaches that are responsible with the changing of the offense. Where are we going with this? What is the future?
Listen, if I have no idea, it just seems like NBA teams and ownership, they just be doing stuff when it comes to these coaches. Like when the Bucks fired
Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah, but then they also fired Griffin. What's his name, Griffin?
Yeah,
Griffin. Adrian Griffin. Halfway through the season, they was like 29-7 or something like that, and he fired him.
They're like the second seed.
Yeah, they just fired him mid-season before the All-Star break. We was like, what the heck is going on there? So NBA teams, they just be doing stuff, man. And I have heard good things about the assistant that they made the interim coach.
Yeah,
like I heard someone say, I don't know if it was Brett Usher or somebody. It was saying he's not going to give up the head coach. Once he steps in, he's going to be the head coach because he's that good. That's what I heard. So we're gonna have to see about that. But yeah, I just think it's just interesting. Like head coaching in the NBA, you have a short leash, and I wish it was kind of like that for the NFL, but unfortunately, it's not because some coaches definitely deserve to be fired over there. But yeah, the Grizzlies, it's kind of like you just punting the season essentially.
Yeah, that's a drastic change, especially when you change your offense dramatically and now you let go of the people that are responsible for that offense. I think you have to wait until after the season. You have to wait it out until the results are the results, and then you make that decision. I feel like it's inappropriate for them to do that at this moment. We all agree that Taylor Jenkins wasn't the greatest, but
Did
to do that at this moment, it's just like why?
did did you see the tweet saying that he lost the locker room?
I didn't see that. No,
I'm gonna find it. I believe they put it in the group chat.
but if they
I'm gonna see if I can find it. It shouldn't take long.
But I saw a tweet where the players were very shocked that he got fired. So I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, it says Sham said Taylor Jenkins lost the Grizzlies locker room.
Okay, that is a problem. That is a problem. But that was the same thing with the Bucks, right? But they were still winning. I just think it's just too much of a drastic move to do that towards the end of the season. You have to wait it out and then make your decision. I don't see this Grizzlies team competing this year. You could say arguably that they overachieved to a certain extent. I mean, for crying out loud, last year they weren't even close to the playoffs. This year they're back in playoff contention. They can potentially get home court advantage, and you just decide that we're gonna get rid of our coach. We believe that the interim coach is way better than the coach that we used to have. I don't know, man. Like, do you believe that they're going to drastically change the offense now that Taylor Jenkins and that coaching staff is gone?
I think what they'll do is more pick and roll.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll try to make it a more pick and roll based offense.
I agree with that. But
Like get Zach Edey involved. He's like 7'4". Like get him involved in a pick P and R. That was kind of like his bread and butter at Purdue. So it would be silly to not run that while he's in the league.
right. I just wonder when you have to drastically change the offense on the fly like that towards playoff time, the chemistry, how is that going to be affected? Like, are they going to have time to adjust to a new system overall when you're about to go in the playoffs where defenses are about to be set, guys have scouting reports
Honestly,
on players? How you gonna
from 2 to 8 in the playoffs, it's a free for all at this point. Like it's
these
no
are smart teams, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm
These are smart
saying
teams.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's making it worse because you got to adjust, and there's not a clear outside of OKC. There's not a clear this team is definitely going to beat this team type scenario. Like 2 through 8 could really beat anybody from 2 through 8. Like them matchups are just so volatile. You don't know what the heck could happen.
I just look at this. As much as you say that, I still think that this drastic of a change, I don't see how it's good for them. I just don't. I don't. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, my Lakers get them in the first round because I wouldn't mind having them. But yeah, man. It was a surprise for me.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was
Just
like,
the timing of it. Just the timing of it. But not because they fired him. It's just the timing of the firing is what surprised me. Because I don't think we've ever seen something like this before. Where a coach gets fired 9 games before the playoffs.
Yeah, not that I can remember. The Grizzlies fans don't seem upset though.
Oh no, I bet they don't because they've been complaining about him the entire season, and that's another thing about NBA coverage. I was reading a tweet about it, and this person made a great point in that if the NBA media were covering the Grizzlies more, they would have saw this coming a mile away, just like with the Milwaukee Bucks with Adrian Griffin. They would have been like, oh, you know what? This has been brewing for months on end now. But because they're focused on other things outside of the game of basketball, you're going to be surprised by something like this. You're going to be shocked by something like this. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. They're just going to have to figure it out for themselves. Let's move on to, I want to get to the quick topics first before we get to the real